next weekend, or this upcoming weekend, I guess, we've got the NHL Draft. Christian, how do we want to work the NHL Draft? Talking about today, like obviously next week we're gonna get more in depth. We're gonna have everybody, like all the picks will be in. We can talk about who we thought kind of won the weekend and who came out short. But looking ahead to this weekend, what are some things that we can look to expect? Heading in.
I'm looking at the top here because I think, the back half of the first round, especially this year, it feels like it gets a little like muddy. Like the tiers don't go that far this year. It's like you get to the middle of the first round, and then it's like just a bunch of names. So I'm sticking with the top here. I've got 3 names in particular I wanted to talk to you about, Dave, and you can throw anything else you got at me here as well. But 3 names I want to talk about. Let's start at the very tippy top here. We did some combine stuff, and we didn't really talk much about Matthew Schaefer, but I listened back to some of his stuff from the combine and just some of the more recent interviews he's done. He obviously was at the Stanley Cup final, had breakfast with, I can't remember if he had breakfast with McDavid or Marchand, but he met both of them at some point. And he talked about that with Gene Principe. I'm just like really impressed with how the dude carries himself. Like I'm already a fan and he hasn't been drafted. Just listening to this guy talk, and we know that he's by far the best defenseman in the draft. And he is the projected number 1. It's tough to see him going anywhere but number 1. But I just came away listening to this guy impressed.
You really can't see him dropping past 2. Like if he isn't the number 1, he's not dropping past 2.
And the odds of him being number 2 to me are like less than 2%, right? Like so. I just wanted to give him a shout out I'm just really impressed with how he carries himself, how he speaks. He's really mature. He doesn't give you cookie cutter answers. He's pretty honest as well. And obviously his story is one it's a tough one. It's one of adversity. He lost his mother and his billet mother in a span of 2 months at the start of 2024. So yeah, like this is a 17-year-old kid turning 18 who's already gone through that stuff. I'm just excited to watch his career because he's got a fan in me now. So that's first. I don't know if you had anything on Matthew Schaefer, but I just want to give him kudos.
No, you're right. It's really tough not to root for a story like him. The one thing I did want to ask though, so the Isles do hold the first overall pick. Do you think it's a coincidence that we've heard Noah Dobson's name in trade talks now over the last couple of weeks after getting this first overall pick, and with Matthew Schaefer looking to be the first guy off the board? Like, is it that much of a coincidence?
I think there is a world where if you can make a good trade of Noah Dobson and bring in some offense that the Islanders desperately need, it's not a bad trade-off. We're expecting Matthew Schaefer to be in the NHL this year. Will you have a Noah Dobson point totals that we've seen in the past couple years as a rookie? Maybe not, but it's honestly not out of the question, and he's only going to get better going forward. And if the price tag is to be believed that he's asking for 10 to 11 million, I'd probably trade Noah Dobson too. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know who's going to give him that. Like, dude, that's a really tough ask. I don't know if he ends up getting that anywhere. It is interesting that we first heard these rumors in the beginning of the year, the season that just was, and that was obviously under Lou Lamoriello. This is not run by Lou Lamoriello anymore. This is Matthew Darsh's team. Maybe Lou Lamoriello is still a puppet in the shadows, even though we got let go. He's still running things,
still lurking around.
This is a second general manager, and we are still hearing the same things about Noah Dobson potentially being moved. So it's interesting. If you are the Islanders and you don't win this draft lottery, Dave, I think you are right in saying like the two are linked. I don't know if you would be as willing to trade Noah Dobson unless you had this pick. This pick makes it a lot easier.
100%. 100%.
So yeah, that's the top of the draft there. I'm looking forward to just hearing Schaefer's interviews as well, because I'm sure we'll get some more really good stuff from him. I'm gonna give you two other guys here, Dave.
Mm-hmm.
First guy, Jake O'Brien.
Mm-hmm.
This is probably my favorite player that I've watched coming into this draft. He's right-handed shot, centerman, 6'2", 170 pounds. He's got room to fill in. He's a little bit lanky right now. If this guy fills out, I really, really, really like him. I think he still has to add like another like gear to his skating as well. Everything else though, like his hands, phenomenal. His shot, phenomenal. His vision, phenomenal. Just needs a little bit more like top speed, like for neutral zone entries and stuff. But I think he's my favorite player that I've watched. He's projected to go in the top 10. I don't know who he's had meetings or dinners with. I do have a list for the next guy we'll talk about. But Jake O'Brien, when me and Justin did a little mock draft a couple weeks ago, or maybe closer to a month now, I had him as an option for the Bruins because, and the Bruins are picking, I don't know if you have the order there, David, is it 6th or 7th? 7th. So he's not a Boston Bruin type player. That's not what he, like, you are not drafting him because he already looks like he plays for the Bruins. And I almost like that a lot for the Bruins, because if you could teach him how to play like a Bruin with what he already has, it's a hell of a player. I think he compares himself, or there's been comparisons to Wyatt Johnston, who I think me and you are both big fans of,
Yep.
And if he's that type of player, any team would like a Wyatt Johnston. And I think the Bruins need help at center, right? They're going to look for the next ones, and he can be the next one to me. He's not, like I said, not a prototypical Bruin. And I'm kind of hoping it doesn't go to the Bruins, but I could just see it working out flawlessly for the Bruins. So that's a name I'm very, very curious to see where he ends up, because he's probably just my player that I've enjoyed watching highlights of the most this year.
Yeah.
Last name here. This is the biggest riser of recent. We even had Cam Robinson say he might go as high as 4th in this draft. And it wasn't too long ago that he was in the mid-teens, and that's Brady Martin. Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds in the O. This is another right shot centerman. I'm going to give you a quote from him, Dave, from Mr. Brady Martin. I believe this was at the Combine. In terms of who he compares himself to, he threw out 3 names. Sam Bennett, Tom Wilson, Matthew Knies.
I love it.
It's who he said he looks up to.
I love it. I love it.
When GMs are hearing that this year, they're falling over themselves.
Salivating.
Right? They also asked him how he would describe like his game, or I guess his work ethic. I don't know exactly what the question was for this answer, but he describes himself as farm strong. That's what he is. He's farm strong.
He's not headstrong. He's farm strong. This guy's driving tractors on the ice. I love it.
Boston, Philly, Utah, and Nashville all took him out to dinner on the week of the Combine. He's been a heavy, heavy riser. There's a lot of scouts who are liking his game. And what good timing to be a player who looks up to Sam Bennett, Tom Wilson, and Matthew Knies, because they're kind of popular right now, those types of players.
Oh, yeah. Especially because 2 of them are out of contract, and they're looking to make some moolah on their next deal, including the guy that just won the Conn Smythe. So, yeah, I mean, pretty good comps right there, 100%. Because I'm seeing him at, who would have the 5th pick? Do you know?
Is that Nashville? I'll pull up the draft order right here. I believe it's Nashville, because we have
Nashville
Chicago. We have Nashville at 5. Yes, we do. Utah's at 4. I think,
because
you're more familiar with.
I was looking
Porter
at
Martone.
I have Porter. I have Porter honestly sliding a bit more, and I'll tell you where I think Porter's going to end up. But for for Utah, I think that's the type of guy that they should be targeting is a Brady Martin, if they get him at 4. But then that I think you also like Anton Frondel is another one that I think has kind of risen over the year. Caleb Desnoyers as well. We talked about him a few weeks ago. I want to say at the beginning of this mock calendar, Desnoyers was also in maybe just inside the top 10. So for him to kind of his
Yeah, he's
stock
risen over the year.
his stock is really risen as well. I think Brady Martin could still even like just inch towards that to like top 4, but I could see him at 4 or 5. I think if I'm Utah, I'm probably looking. If I'm going to be honest, I'm looking at Brady Martin to take. But so for Porter, right now I saw it on the Athletic, and I think it makes way too much sense. I saw they have him going 8, so he is sliding a bit because I think he was going as high as like 3 at one point. I don't know if he really has the top end to be like a 3rd overall pick, but 8 for me is very, very fascinating because the 8th pick is held by the Seattle Kraken. Now, Christian, do you know who else is in the Seattle system that Porter might have some familiarity with?
We talking teammate familiarity, or
It is teammate familiarity, yeah.
okay? I'm thinking from the Steelheads, and I don't know why nothing's coming to mind there. I'm thinking unless it's like Team Canada wise and Shane Wright. What am I blanking on here?
Well, yes, so Shane Wright is there, but Carson Rakoff, his line mate,
Okay,
is a
yes, of course.
Seattle draft pick as well. So I think for Seattle, Porter Martone and Carson Rakoff have been over the past 2 seasons been one of I believe it's in the top 5 of point production for duos. So they already have built-in chemistry. If Porter Martone ends up sliding to Seattle in the eighth spot, I think that's a pretty good bit of business for them. Especially another player that I also wonder where he ends up is somebody like James Higgins, who I think me and you were sitting. We were talking about this draft class last year. I think it was probably January, February when we saw 1.0 mock-ups, and James Higgins was the number 1, it looked right?
Yep.
Now it doesn't even seem certain that he's going to be picked in the top 5. He should be picked in the top 10, I would assume, but where does he end up? Do you have any thoughts on him?
I still think his skill is so high end, and he was a absolute difference maker at the World Juniors. He was one of
100%.
he was a leader for that U.S. squad, and I had him going to Chicago at 3. It honestly just seems like the top 10 is all over the place. You can go in so many directions. It feels like Schaefer and Misa are concrete 1-2.
Yeah.
Beyond that, I it's really going to come down to just team preference, and if I'm choosing between Higgins, Denoyer, Martone, Brady Martin, it's really tough to pass up on James Higgins. Yeah, Jake O'Brien. It's really tough to pass on Higgins though, because he's just shown it, and I don't really know why exactly he's falling so much. It honestly might just come down to if I'm just listing off heights here. 6'2" for Schaefer, 6'1" for Misa, 6'3" for Martone, 6'1" Frondell, 6'2" for Denoyer, James Higgins 5'11". Is it just that simple? I really hope not, because
listen,
there's tons of players at that height who we can do something.
Yeah, no, 100%. Right? I mean, it'd be a different story if he was 5'8". Sure,
yeah.
I could see maybe.
Or we're talking about a guy who's
slip.
projected in the back half of the first round. No, we're talking about a guy with top 5 skill. I don't know. I think this is almost when you have risers like Brady Martin,
somebody has to
because of the
ultimately
playoffs. Fall. And I think just for whatever reason, Higgins has been the victim of that. I look at a guy like Braden Point. He's a playoff dog, right? What is he? If his height has to be 6 flat at the most. I'm gonna look right now.
I think he's 5'11".
That's a guy
honestly.
who,
yeah,
right, and that's a guy who, if you are someone that's under 6 feet as a top NHL prospect, you should just be looking at Braden Point and saying that guy is someone who all GMs would value in the playoffs. He's 5'11", right?
Yeah.
This is a 50-goal scorer.
2-time Cup champ.
I don't think that can and I don't know if Braden Point was drafted as the dog that he is today, right? So I think in the right environment, Higgins can be
I think
an
the
absolute
dog,
front runner for a team.
the dog just needs to be instilled in you. Like you could not be a dog in junior, but going to the
It can
NHL,
be taught.
it's a dog eat dog world, and if you don't know how to be the dog, then you're gonna get eaten. So that doesn't just go for James Higgins. Like that quite literally can go for anybody. We mentioned before Jake O'Brien. Like if you put him in that Boston culture, what if we put James Hagan in that Boston system, right? If they need centers, right? Can James Higgins be that next Boston Bruin type center that we all think of, right? Like in that system. Like I don't know,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But I think it just has to be taught. Like I don't think I think there has to be something going in like into the draft and like going into like a new team. But something like that, especially with when we talk Boston, like that doesn't come from prior experiences. That comes from being in the now, being in the present, playing in Boston. So, do you have anything else like? I do have one player I just want to ask. Just want to ask about. So first goaltender off of the list, Joshua Ravensburgen, I think, and he's someone that's probably going to go in like should probably be going in like the lower end of the first round. But I think personally, I've seen some stuff, like some things about Joshua Ravensburgen. He could be the next Team Canada guy, and we've already got a few guys right now, I think personally in net, who can be the next guy, like for Team Canada. Carter George, Jack Avankovic, and maybe Joshua Ravensburgen. Like I remember when the list came out for this past World Juniors, and like Jack Ivankovic was named to the team, and Joshua Ravensburgen wasn't. A lot of people got up in arms and defensive about it. Maybe they're right. Like who knows? We'll see where Josh Ravensburgen goes. That's just somebody I want to keep an eye on. Another one is Henry Brustewicz. The London Knights.
Burstevich, I think. Yeah. I've heard like Brustevich because you know what, his brother got traded to the Flames, I think last year. It's the only reason I can tell you what his name is.
Oh yeah, I had no idea.
Yeah, his brother got traded to the Flames. I think in the what trade was it? I think it was with the Canucks. I think it was the Lindholm deal.
Oh, I didn't even know he had a
Yeah.
brother. If I'm going to be honest, that's crazy.
There we go.
But
Henry.
Henry, we'll call him Henry. Henry is somebody that I can see like kind of going deeper in the draft and making an impact on whatever team takes him. Maybe not next year, but I think he's going to be a guy to just keep an eye on for the future. I've seen a bit of him. We saw him win the Memorial Cup with London. Got to see him a couple other times throughout this year. I was sneakily pretty impressed, and that was a loaded backline that they had as well with like Sam Dickinson as well. And I thought Henry kind of stood out a little bit to me. Other than that, do you have any other names that you want to throw out here?
Just go back to Ravensburgen. I'm just looking at teams. I'm like, who can I see taking the swing at him in the first round? Who is a team that really needs a goaltender? I get like St. Louis with Binnington and Hofer right now. I don't know if they have anyone else in the system. They're at 19, and the Athletic Corey Pronman has him at 19. He honestly might make some sense there. Like I think.
What about?
I wouldn't be surprised if there's a team that takes a swing on him in the first round.
Does a team like Nashville make any sense because of what happened with Askarov? That would have been last summer, right? So you lose your next guy, and you draft Ravensburgen now, and you maybe project in 5 years, 3 to 5 years. Well, I would say 3 years for him to start making the jump, and then maybe 5 years to take a bigger role on the team. And I think in 5 years, Because how long have they do they have Juuse Saros locked up for? Did they get him for 8 years?
I think they signed him for the long haul, right? I think they did. I would say I could see it, Dave, but I almost wonder it's like maybe they don't want to make the same mistake where it's like where you run into the scenario again. Obviously, it's always good to have good prospects. They have, and you know what though, they do have 3 first-round picks, so they can really get creative if they wanted to. And maybe with one of those back-end ones, they are willing to throw it out at a goalie because it's not like their only dart that they can throw in the first round. But yeah, Saros has an 8-year deal. Takes him to age 38. Who knows if he ends up playing out that full 8? I could see it because they have 3 picks in the first round. I think they might be the only team with 3 picks. That is a lot.
I mean, listen, it never hurts to take the goaltending prospect because you never know what can come like about it. And then listen, if things just don't work out for that team, so let's say it's Nashville, for example, I think a lot more people are more forgiving in terms of goaltending. Like, I think somebody else is going to want to take the chance on what could potentially be your guy for the future, right? Like, there's such a mystery box with goaltending that I think, I mean, they have 3 picks, right? Like, if you have to hit on one of them.
For defenseman, if you go center defenseman goalie, you might do the 2018 Dallas Stars, right, where they drafted Heiskanen, Ottinger, and Robertson.
Yeah,
right. Not a center Robertson, but still, like, you drafted the core of your team in one round. That I mean, maybe they want to trade one of those guys this year.
I mean, Brady Martin, Henry Brustewicz, and Joshua Ravensburg. Hello, welcome to Nashville.
Hey, yeah. I think that's interesting to watch from Nashville because I will pay attention to if they're the team that ends up getting him because of the 3 picks that they have. Yeah,
are they
I think
the
other
only?
than that, Dave,
Are they the only team?
I think they are the only team.
3 picks?
In the first round, yes. They are the only team in the first round with 3 that I can see as I take a look. Seeing 2 Columbus logos, 2 Montreal.
Yeah.
I think it's just them.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we got a couple of teams there with Montreal and Columbus that can also maybe make some noise. Like, do we expect like Montreal to pick with both of those picks, or are they maybe looking to package that as
you can use
just packaging that up for something bigger? Or maybe
I
not
would
both
say
of them.
Smaller.
Oh,
Trade down.
Trading down.
Like, I could totally see the trade down turn into a second and third or something. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
They have,
I mean, 1 pick into 2. If you could get like 1, yeah. I mean, 2 and 3.
You're saying 2 into 1. Maybe they try to move up.
I would say
16
maybe
and
even
17 would have to get you almost into like the top 10. Like, you're looking at like the 8th pick or something like that. And I don't know, maybe if you're Buffalo, like, honestly, because you need quantity as much as you need quality, and you still get quantity at 16-17.
I think Buffalo just needs people that want to play in the KeyBank Center. So I mean, maybe that's the way that they go. But maybe. I feel like they tried that before, where they tried for the quantity picks, and I don't know if
they've tried it all, brother. They've tried it all.
That is right.
I will say though, like, the amount of like we just went over just a bunch of different scenarios here. Like, I think this will be a really great draft. It sucks that it's remote and it's not back at the Sphere because that was so good. But I think I'm really hoping we get some good player movement here. I hope that the GMs not being together physically doesn't damper the movement because it's shaping up. And you know what? I will say, even if there isn't, we talked about the difference in who could go where. No matter what, I think that top 10 will be really, really fun to watch. But
100%.
Once you get some trades involved, we could have a really, really good draft. So I'm very much looking forward to it.